We've got football, baseball, and basketball in today's top 5 cards, and one of the players on the list, you are not going to believe who it is. The top 5 starts now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another Top 5 Tuesday. What a time to be a sports fan. The Major League Baseball playoffs have been incredible. The NBA is just around the corner. The NHL is underway. And wow, the NFL. Hasn't that been exciting? How about my Atlanta Falcons taking down the Buffalo Bills last night? I was pretty excited about that one. But today, we get to talk about all of the cards that are going up and up and up because of all of that sports excitement. There is a lot of them. And of course, today's top 5 is sponsored by Whatnot. And guys, this is huge. Next week is the Whatnot Card Show. And we're doing something incredible. Next Wednesday night on Cards HQ Shop on Whatnot, I'm going live. We are giving away National Treasures football. We are giving away Flawless football, and we are going to break the all-time record for Whatnot sales. We're going to have 100,000 packs available for sale at discounted prices. It's only happening next Wednesday night on Cards HQ Shop starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to put a QR code to Cards HQ Shop on the screen and the link in the show description below. If you use our code or your link or this link and you're a first-time Whatnot customer, you'll get $15 free credit to use towards that show. So click that now and get registered. Okay, let's take a look at the overall sports card market with the Market Pulse by Market Movers. Over the last 7 days, the SCI 500 index of 500 of the most prominent sports cards is down a little bit, still up over the last 30 days, still up a ton. On the year overall, up almost 27% this year going back to January 1st. That is pretty cool to see. But now, let's talk about the cards that are going up and down the most. It is time for today's Top 5. We're starting today's list with a cold card, as we do every week, because it is a reminder that sometimes the hot cards featured in this program can quickly turn cold. So invest carefully. And of course, a big injury, unfortunately, often causes cards to start falling right away. That is the case with Malik Nabers, the wide receiver for the New York Giants. Nabers came into the league 2 years ago. He was drafted 6th overall by the Giants in 2024 after an explosive LSU career where he left as the school's all-time receiving yards leader. And this season started good for Nabers. He was leading the Giants in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. But then he tore his ACL and meniscus in his right knee. He is out for the rest of the season, and his cards, they're dropping. Let's take a look here in Market Movers. I brought 3 of his rookie short prints up on the screen. Let's start with his Kaboom from 2024 Absolute and PSA 10 condition. This one's dropped 13% over the course of the last 30 days. Most recently sold for $1,040, but that card was $1,200 before the injury. In raw condition, it is down about 7% during the same period of time. The Downtown in PSA 10, his rookie Downtown, that one's down almost 28%. Most recently sold for $650, but before the injury, it was selling for over $1,000. So that's a pretty big drop on that one. The raw is down 13% on that Downtown. And then finally, let's look at Nabers' Uptowns. In PSA 10, his Uptown from 2024 Optic is down about 19%. Most recently sold for $355. That was up at $532 before his injury. And in raw, that is down 6.5% over the last 30 days. So unfortunately, if you have any Malik Nabers cards in your collection, they're not worth as much today as they were a few weeks ago. But now let's talk about cards going up. And this week, our investment card of the week is Chuck Bednarik, the linebacker and center for the Philadelphia Eagles from 1949 to 1962. Bednarik is remembered as one of the toughest and most complete players in NFL history. He was nicknamed Concrete Charlie, and he was the last full-time two-way player in the league, dominating at both center and linebacker. He earned 8 All-Pro selections. He also helped the Eagles win the 1960 NFL Championship. He is a Hall of Famer in both the College Football Hall of Fame and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Pretty cool. And his cards, they've been nice investments over the last year. Let's take a look here in Market Movers. We're going to specifically look at Bednarik's 1948 Leaf rookie card. That is up here on the screen. Love the design of 1948 Leaf. There was a recent sale of this in PSA 6 for $15,800. A huge sale of that card. By the way, only popped 13 of that card in PSA 6. That was the only sale over the last year in PSA 6. But if you go down and look at PSA 4, the PSA 4 of this card is up 27% over the last year. It most recently sold for $3,950. There it is right there on the top of the graph. But if you go back just even a few months ago, there was a sale of that down at $3,100. So a nice little increase on that. And then the PSA 3s jumped 4% over the course of the last year, most recently selling for $2,280 right there. And if you go back about a year ago, or actually to earlier this year, that sold for $2,200. So that one's been inching up as well. Nice to see this vintage football card doing well in the market. It's time for our NFL All-Day moment of the week, and this week it is Puka Nacua. And an exceptional moment from Puka Nacua's season this year from 2025, recently minted. It is his metallic gold LE signature edition rare out of 25, and it has been jumping recently in the NFL All-Day market. Let's take a look here at the moment. This is, you can see the replay of this moment. This was actually a rush where he ran the ball against the Titans back on September 14th, busted off a big run for a touchdown. NFL All Day commemorated this in a moment, and this is the rare to 25. By the way, NFL All Day has added this new analytics tab, and this thing is gold because check this out. Look at what this moment has done in the market. NFL All Day now has their own charts and graphs, and you can see that this most recently sold for $185. There's a couple of sales of that moment up at that price. But this moment just a few weeks ago was down at $110. You can expand out to look at a longer time period and see how this thing has moved in the market. The overall trajectory is nice and upwards on this particular moment. I've been buying more and more of these NFL All Day moments, but I have been going older. I have been going more legendary. Look at the two John Elway moments I just recently picked up. I picked up a moment of the drive. This one is the ultimate number to 10 of his famous drive from 1987 against the Browns. And I picked up this 1998 moment from the Super Bowl where John Elway went airborne. This is a legendary out of 35. Look at that moment. That is part of my NFL All Day collection. By the way, you can get started with NFL All Day for free. I'm going to give you a free pack. If you're a first-time NFL All Day user, link in the show description below or scan that QR code on your screen right now to get a free pack, totally free, with NFL All Day. All right, let's get back to cards, but we're going to stick with football. And in the number 5 spot today, it is Dillon Gabriel, the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, of course, you remember that Gabriel was picked by the Browns in the 3rd round of this last draft, but he did not start the season as the starter. Joe Flacco did. But Flacco struggled through 4 games with 8 turnovers, and then he was traded away to the Bengals for a 2026 5th round pick. So that gave Gabriel the opportunity to move into the starting role. And since taking over, Gabriel has shown flashes of poise and accuracy, but not necessarily the most consistent. The Browns are going to need him to stay consistent if they are going to continue to have him be the starter, because Shedeur Sanders is now in that backup spot, putting perhaps a little bit of pressure on Gabriel. But at the moment, with him now starting, Gabriel's cards are surging up in the sports card market. Let's take a look here at Market Movers, and I've got 4 of Gabriel's cards on the screen. We're going to go back to 2021 Bowman University for Dillon Gabriel's first Chrome Prospect Auto. This one in raw condition is up about 32% over the last 30 days. Most recently sold for $37. That card was $28 30 days ago. And then from this year's sets, 2025 Donruss, this is his rated rookie autograph from 2025 Donruss. It's up almost 53% over the last 30 days. Most recently sold for $52. That was a $34 card 30 days ago. From Elite, this is his 2025 Elite Base rookie, number to $9.99. Most recently sold for $9.50. You could have scooped that card up for as little as $1 a few weeks ago. So check the dollar bins at card shows near you in case that card right there is still in a dollar bin, because it's now worth close to $10. And then this is Dillon Gabriel's 2025 Origins Rookie Jumbo Patch Auto. In raw condition, it most recently sold for about $53. You could have scooped that card up a few weeks ago for as little as $32. All right, we're on to basketball for the number 4 card today, and this is the one that I was shocked to see in the list today. It is Zion Williamson. Yes, Zion is back in the top 5. Is it 2019? Because it feels like 2019 all over again. We have not said Zion is in the top 5 for quite a while, but he is in the top 5 right now. And the reason why is he recently told the media that he's ready for a big year in New Orleans after a rehab from a lower backbone contusion, which ended his last season early. And he looks like he is in peak physical condition. He did a lot of off-season conditioning. And in the preseason so far, he had a little flash in the preseason. He's looked good. So once again, we got Zion Mania in full effect, and some people are scooping up his cards thinking he is finally going to have a year where he truly lives up to the potential that all of us thought he had 5 years ago when we were first buying his cards. All right, let's take a look at market movers. I got 6 of Zion's cards up on the screen. We're going to start by looking at his 2019 Optic Blue Velocity in PSA 10. This card up 33% over the last 30 days, most recently sold for $60. That card was around $45 a few weeks ago. How about his Prism Silver in PSA 10? Very iconic card. This card right now is at $396. That card was $208 30 days ago. So that one's moved up a lot in the last 30 days. My goodness, man. Zion Prism Silver Mania. His red, white, and blue doing big things as well. That one's up about 71%. Most recently sold for $70 in PSA 10. That was a $41 card a few weeks ago. His Prism Base in PSA 10 is up 68%. Most recently sold for $29. You could have scooped that for $17 30 days ago. How about his Downtown? From 2020 Prism Draft Picks in PSA 10, that one is up about 26%, having most recently sold for close to $300. And how about his Slammy from 2023 Optic and PSA 10? That one up 144%, most recently sold for $213. That was just an $87 card a few weeks ago. Of course, just popped 28 on that card. So that one actually, out of all of his, short prints, that one is actually one of the most rare ones to find in PSA 10 condition. Pretty cool. Now, of course, I got to do this just for effect. On the graph here in Market Movers, let me switch to look at all data. And this is going to tell a much different story. Yeah, look at those things tumble over the course of time. Those things used to be worth a lot more back in 2020, 2021 than they are today. So it's been great seeing the recent gains, but if you've been holding on to Zion cards for like the last 4 years, you're still unfortunately pretty cooked. All right, let's go to a guy who's cooking right now in the number 3 spot. It is Vlad Guerrero Jr., the first baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays. Vlad Guerrero Jr. has carried the Blue Jays deep into October, hitting .375 so far in the postseason. And against the Yankees, he went 9 for 17. Batting .529 as a batting average in that series against the Yankees with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. And then in Game 2 of the American League Divisional Series, he launched Toronto's first ever postseason Grand Slam while going 3 for 5 in that game. So Vlad Guerrero getting a ton of attention right now. His card's getting a ton of attention as well. Let's shift over to Market Movers. We're going to look at Vlad Guerrero's 2016 Bowman Chrome Prospects, his first Bowman card. This is the base from that set in PSA 10 condition. Most recently sold for around $72, but that card was as little as $41 just a few weeks ago. Let's look at his 2016 Bowman Chrome First Prospect Auto in PSA 10. This is a $683 card today. That was a $550 card a few weeks ago. And then if we look at that same Prospect Auto in BGS 9.5, we've got a recent sale on that at $600. That was selling for down towards $300 or so just a few weeks ago. So that's a real nice increase on that in a 9.5. How about his 2019 Topps Chrome Rookie Refractor in PSA 10? Close to a $90 card today. If you go back a few weeks, that was like a $30 to $40 card, somewhere in that range, $30 to $50. So that's a nice increase on that one. And then finally, let's look at his anime card from 2025 Bowman, the super short print in raw condition. This most recently sold for $150. That is way up from $78, which is what that card was selling for 30 days ago. All right, we're sticking with baseball, and in the number 2 spot today, it is Roki Sasaki, the pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Sasaki entered 2025 with high expectations for the Dodgers, but he was limited to 8 starts. He went 1 of 1 with a 4.72 ERA before a shoulder injury sidelined him, but he was activated from the injured list in late September, and he has now rejoined the pitching staff in a relief role, and he's making an impact. In the 2025 National League Divisional Series, Sasaki emerged as a bullpen star. He went 5 1/3 innings, retiring 16 of 17 batters, logging multiple perfect innings, and earning 2 saves, including the clincher in Game 4. So, that type of performance in the postseason, especially from a rookie, is going to cause cards to rise, and rising they are. Let's look here in Market Movers. This is Sasaki's 2025 Bowman, etched in glass, super short print, and in raw condition. That most recently sold for $246. That's up quite a bit. You could have scooped that for as little as $135 if you go back a few weeks ago. How about his 2025 Topps Chrome Rookie Autograph Refractor, number to $499 in raw condition? This most recently sold for $465. That is way up because that card was under $200 just a few weeks ago. How about Sasaki's 2025 Topps Chrome Fanatical in raw condition? This is a super short print as well, most recently selling for $31. Could have got that for as little as $24 30 days ago. And then finally, his 2025 Topps Chrome Sapphire Edition base in raw condition, most recently sold for $35. And that card was hovering around $10. Look at that, just 30 days ago. So really, really nice increase here on Sasaki's cards. All right, it is time for today's number 1 card, but before I give it to you, let me remind you that all of the charts and graphs from today's program are from Market Movers, and Market Movers is the ultimate way to track your collection and to see what's going on with the price movements of millions and millions of sports cards. There's a desktop version, there's also a mobile version, so you can take it to card shows on the go. Just go to sportscardinvestor.com and click Market Movers in the main menu bar, or go to the App Store on your phone and search for Market Movers. You can get started for free with Market Movers today. All right, the number 1 card of the week. This is a special edition surprise. We're giving you 2 players in 1. It is Jackson Dart and Cam Skattebo, both of the New York Giants. We group them together because that QB-RB combination of the 2 rookies for the Giants, their cards are on fire. As a rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart continues to impress. He's completed about 66% of his passes so far with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, but he's also getting things done on the ground. He's rushed for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns this season as well. But Cam Skattebo, he's getting even more things done on the ground. He powered the ground game in the Giants' recent upset win over the Eagles. He rushed for 98 yards and 3 touchdowns, also making an impact as a receiver. So people in New York are excited about this combo. There's a lot of football card collectors and investors that are excited as well because their cards are shooting up. Let's take a look here in Market Movers. We got 3 of Cam Skattebo's cards up on the screen. This is Skattebo's 2024 Bowman Chrome University first Bowman card from his days at Arizona State. This one is up 133% in the last 30 days in raw condition, most recently having sold for $133. That was a $57 card just 30 days ago. His 2025 Elite Pink in raw condition, most recently sold for $25. That is way up. That card was as little as $5 just a few weeks ago. And then Skattebo's 2025 Origins Rookie Jumbo Patch Autograph in raw condition, most recently sold for $244, but that was a $65 card just 30 days ago. Absolutely incredible. And then Jackson Dart, not to be outdone, his 2024 Bowman Chrome University Prospect Auto in raw condition, it was $200 on the most recent sale. That was a $67 card 30 days ago. That card is up almost 200% over the last 30 days. And how about Jackson Dart's Donruss Downtown in raw condition? This one's up almost 80%. It most recently sold for $2,285 in raw condition. You could have scooped that card for $1,275 in raw condition 30 days ago. And then how about Jackson Dart's Elite Pink in raw condition? That most recently sold for $25. That was selling for as little as $10 if you go back a few weeks ago. What a month for Cam Skattebo and Jackson Dart, and what a month for their sports card prices. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, please give it a like, please give it a subscribe, and go check out Market Movers. Download the Market Movers app in the App Store or go to sportscardinvestor.com, click Market Movers in the main menu bar. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you soon with our next one. Take care.